Hi, beautiful friend. I'm so happy you're here. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that I actually love, believe it or not. Well, it's a combination of topics that I like to talk about because today we're talking about business and femininity, and in particular, answering the question. I'm going to try my best to do that. If I can be feminine in business, or in other words, if I can be feminine and a business lady. And I want to talk about this because I think, not only just to do with femininity, but it can be in that bracket. I think that a lot of women fear going into business for different reasons, but it may boil down to, can I be a woman? Can I be a mom, a sister, a lady, in business, especially if there's a mindset of business being very cutthroat and having, a lot of scheming ways in order to be successful. So I want to talk about it today. And I remember back when I was in Jamaica, a friend of mine got pregnant, and we were very happy for her. For her and her husband, this was their first child. It was exciting, right? And she went through the phases of pregnancy. And for the first one, I think it was difficult for her, especially in the first and maybe the second trimester. But I noticed that she was still going to work. I mean, she took some days off. I think there were sick days when she was really ill. But she was still going to work, and she would share with us, our friend group, that it was difficult for her. And many times she had to cry out to God for help in this situation, though she was really excited to have her child. And when the baby came, we were so happy. She had a beautiful baby girl, so lovely. And I remember having a conversation with her, and I think her husband was there at the time. I don't remember. But, the questions come up like, okay, so you're so excited about having your daughter. What are you going to do about maternity leave? Because in Jamaica, I think we have, oh man, 3 or what is it, 6 months of maternity leave? I need to research this because I haven't worked in a traditional job in Jamaica. But anyways, she informed us that she took her full maternity leave, but she also took an extra month unpaid because she really wanted to be with her daughter. And something within me, something about that disturbed me when I heard it. And I think it was like, for me, just, being uncomfortable. No, my friend, I believe, loved her job, and it was really great that she was in a field that she had a lot of expertise in, and she could make a lot of difference. But just the dynamic, the struggle of wanting to be with your child, but still needing to go to work. And I'm very happy that her and her family were in a position where she could at least take a month off unpaid. But I know that there are other people who don't have that sort of option. And it just disturbed me because I knew within myself, like, God willing, I want to, be at home with my children, especially during their developmental years. For me, that's very important. And I know that there are many people in different situations, and I get that. But for me, I knew in my heart that if I had a choice, and I want to have a choice in that, I want to be at home with my children. And yet I still want to be doing something and making a difference, because I just know that I have a lot of talents and gifts to offer. So I don't know, later on I learned about the aspect of working online, different online or different jobs online, and it sparked an interest in me. And I don't know at the time if I placed all the pieces together. I think I even had prayed to God for the ability to be able to be at home with my children. But I think there was an instinct inside of me that said, I want to be able to work from home because I would love the ability, the dynamic of being at home working and still being with my children. So all of that is to say that I believe that having a business, I really truly believe this, having a business is one of the most feminine things that you can ever do. And I know that being in business has been maybe traditionally a male dominated field, and having like business traditionally, like giving, offering goods and services to people, and being the person, the entrepreneur, maybe I should use that word as well, an entrepreneur who actually runs it and has a different dynamics and stuff. Or maybe you're in a partnership, but at the same time you have a lot of say in the dynamics as well as the schedule and what you can do. And I remember later on, like I joined this course for women in business, women who wanted to grow in business. And I realized that a lot of those women were moms. They were wives and moms who had a talent, who had a skill that they wanted to offer to people, goods and services that they loved. Many of it was so creative, but they still were growing it and thinking about their homes, thinking about their children and stuff. And that just inspired me to be like, okay, I can do this. I can be an entrepreneur and, actually look forward to building a legacy and being with, my future husband and my children, and just enjoying that aspect. And it's not to say that it's easy or it's necessarily soft, because it's still challenging. Having and running your own business now comes with the dynamics of you being disciplined. Like, no one is telling you what to do, and the success of it really depends on you putting in the most effort properly and still being balanced about it. So I don't think it's easier, but it's really also incredible because you get to get to go into a lot of self-development in that process, especially if you are in a traditional career and you're balancing that, with a side hustle that you hope that maybe someday will become your full-time venture. And if you have other things you're responsible for, especially if they're human beings, then you have to balance all of that in the best way possible. And I think that for women who do that, it's incredible, it's creative, and it's definitely feminine. Now, I want to go into some other points about how you can be feminine in business, feminine as an entrepreneur, and be successful and still be feminine. I don't think it reduces that at all. And there are also some things or some mindsets that I want to address where it's that, like, the lies of women earning more. I remember from a very, very young age, I don't know, like we were talking, kids talk. I definitely talked a lot with my friends and we were dreaming about the future. And the dynamic of women earning more came up. And it was also, I think I moved the camera. Okay, I'm getting really comfortable. It was like, I guess the mindset or the thought came up that you really don't want to be. I don't know why we thought like this, okay? We were kids and we needed a lot of guidance. And also we were at boarding school. Like I went to a boarding school for all of my high school. It was a really good boarding school. But we had a lot of discussions on our own without the structure and guidance of an adult. Anyways, so we were just like, well, we need to find husbands who earn more, or maybe I guess it kind of like put a damper on us, or a limiting mindset that you don't want to earn more than your husband, therefore you don't put out as much effort as you can to earn as much. And I wish I could go back to that little girl, those girls, and be like, no, that's not it. You don't dampen your efforts in order to make a man feel comfortable. And if that's the kind of man that you're going for, you probably don't want to. because there are other men who see that and they're excited. They actually help you and push you to be the best you can be, and also that encourages them to be successful and ambitious as well, because like they see the marriage, they see it as a partnership where everyone gets to be the best that they can be. There are men like that, and I've seen examples, and it's incredible. But I want to address that because I think that maybe there's still some women to this day that don't want to be as successful as they can be because they're afraid that it will intimidate a man, you know, or even like they're afraid that it may cause them to be proud or something like that. And I don't like, you grow a lot in character if you choose, when you are actually going after being the best that you can be and offering the best that you can offer to people. And you don't have to fall into pride if you are really focused and really intentional about what you're doing. And there's also something, someone else said that money doesn't make you a worse person. Like, money actually magnifies what's inside of you. And yeah, I've been going on a real like journey with God, like developing, learning about myself, learning about Him. And I know now that like I still want to be as successful as I can be. But before, like years before, maybe that wouldn't have been best for me at the time. And let me explain why. Because like God is really careful and intentional about what He gives us, knowing that we're stewarding it in the best way possible. And that's why He gives us seeds to know if we can grow, with it, or to see actually how well we steward the little that He gives us, to see if we can get more of that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a Bible verse. The last time I did a video like this, I was thinking of the Bible verses, and I was like, I could have just looked at the computer at the same time. So I'm gonna do that right now, and just bear with me a bit, because it just came to me and I really want to think about it. So, to whom much is given, more, okay, to whom much is given, much is required. Okay, so that's from Luke 12 verse 48, and I just want to read it real quickly. I love the NLT version, so I'm looking for that one. Come on. Okay. All right. So when someone has been given much will okay, let's repeat that. When someone has been given much will be required in return. And when someone has been entrusted with much, even more will be required. So when it comes to like business and success and the dynamics, yes, when you have more is required. And I also believe that it's about your character as well. When you have more, it magnifies your character, and it's like people can see more of who you are inside. If it's good, bad, insecure, or secure. So women, please don't back down. Be the best that you can be, and don't get intimidated by lies. Because there are people who actually appreciate and champion you and celebrate you to be the best that you can be. And if you don't feel like you have that right now, you will have it. Like, look for it intentionally. People who celebrate you and form relationships with them, deeper friendships, and something to that. And also, I want to talk about femininity, and a secret that I don't think many of us understand, but I'm so excited to go into it today. The thing is that femininity, it is about nurturing and about receiving. But here's the thing, when femininity receives something, it multiplies exponentially. Like, it doesn't even compare to what you were given. Like, for instance, a mom having a baby, a life. Of course, God is involved. God is the one who gave the baby the life, but carrying that child and it being formed in her womb, she was given a seed, and now is presenting a child. Nothing compares to that. And I believe that that same dynamic actually goes into business or anything we touch, really. As women, like, when we really give our best into things, we multiply it. Like, okay, another instance, you're given a house and you decorate, you bring the atmosphere, things like that, to make it a home for you and your family. And it's something that is so intrinsic within us, that's an instinct, where it's like you start thinking about the bigger details, the bigger picture, in order to make something more than it was before. And even naturally, like, you're not necessarily thinking about the child or the baby growing, although you're thinking about, like, taking care of yourself and the baby. But even naturally, that's what your body does. It expands, it carries, it gives birth to that child. And that's an amazing thing about femininity, which we bring, I believe, into business, where we have an idea, or we're given an idea, and we cause it to multiply exponentially, to bless many people. Because I believe that business blesses people. I mean, I've read books and also listened to other people who say the same thing, and I believe it as well, that business is formed so you can offer something to people that they don't have at the time, and they pay you back in order to, for it to be an exchange that's worth it. So, yeah. For me, that's just incredible, because business to me is like a form of multiplication, or divine multiplication. And I love it. Also, I want to talk about this blouse. Like, I just got this blouse and it is so cute. I don't know if I can like, if you see it fully in the video, but look at this. Look at this. It's just so cute. It's like a little dress. I'm wearing some white shorts right now, which I can't show in the camera because of the aspects, but I just wanted to show it, because it's like, when I was setting up the camera, I was just like, I was just like, it's so sad that they're not seeing the full blouse. And if you're listening to the audio of this, well, you can't see the blouse right now, but just know it's really lovely. It's like a nice corset kind of blouse, but it's still like pink with some details and a bow. That's just like so cute. Anyways, let's go back in. So let's talk about a biblical example that's used a lot when, talking about women and the ideal woman. It can be like, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm talking about the Proverbs 31 woman, where she just has so many aspects that people aspire to, which is incredible. It can make people feel insecure, because you're just like, oh, I'm not there yet. But I think it's something to think about and to aspire to, especially her character, because it says in Proverbs 31 verse 11, her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. And that's just like, for me, shedding a light on her character. Like, people can rely on her, especially the closest person in her life, her husband, right? The person who is closest to you, it also, like, they get to see you for who you fully are, to the, in the most way possible. And for her husband, does not receive any harm. Like, she brings him good. never any harm. But let's go on to her. Let's see how she's like a boss babe, like a boss businesswoman in the best way possible, while still thinking about her family and stuff, which is just like, it's, oh, I'm seeing a rainbow. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Wow. I don't know if I can take a clip and then put it in the video. We'll see. Isn't that amazing? It makes me think about the promises of God. It's, oh wow. Thank you, Lord. Thank you that you are here. Thank you, you are here, God. So let's go to verse 13. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. Oh my gosh. She is like the merchant ships bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it's still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field. She's like, and buys it. So, just that business mindset. And out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. So it's like she is investing as well out of her earnings. And it's her earnings. It's like, it's not saying it's from her husband. It's her earnings. But still, like, she's using that to provide for her family, her household, and it goes on, like, it talks a lot about the things that she does, actually. And for many of us as Christians, seeing this as the ideal woman, I believe it's also like something we can use to encourage us. Like, if you're thinking about entrepreneurship or being in business, like, this is an encouragement that you can do it and you should do it, and it doesn't hinder you from your other dreams, especially if you're dreaming about being a mom and a wife, a wife and a mom. And it doesn't, and even like if you are already, a wife and a mom, you can still go into that aspect, or any stage of life that you're in. It's just that you can do it. And you don't have to think that it's taken away from you. You don't have to think that you need to be masculine or extremely masculine or anything to be successful. You can do it, and you should, right? And yeah, like, I also want to talk about like another aspect in history where, for women who, like, okay, in the time when like families were more into farming, what do you call it, like the agricultural industry or the agricultural era? Because I think about the industrial revolution, but before you had the agricultural time. Anyways, so many families would be working together. In that time, women were actually helping on the farm, even if they were doing different things, because the farm was seen as the family business. Even children were helping with the farm. Of course, like, labor laws came into effect and stuff like that. But I remember, like, for my family, my grandparents with my aunts and uncle and my mom, my aunts and uncles, they would be helping my grandfather and my grandmother with their farm and with the different things that they were doing. So for a long time, women have been in business, even if it wasn't directly called being in business. Because for me, I consider my grandparents as entrepreneurs, because they ran their own business. They had their farm, they had their trade, and they would work with other merchants in order to sell the goods that they had grown, and at the time that they had animals, the same, and then get the profit from it. So I believe entrepreneurship runs in my blood. I know it does, just the skills and so on, like putting your hands to work and like gaining a profit from it. And that's been the case for women for a while, that they were in business, even if it wasn't like thought of as business. And even just being there, even if they weren't in a traditional career and working from home, even just helping their husband in any aspect, even if it's taking care of the kids and the home, they're still giving aid to their husband in order for what he's doing, what they're doing together, to multiply. And if they had a good husband, he would definitely acknowledge that without his wife, he wouldn't have been able to do half the things that he was doing, if even quarter. But like, this is just to appreciate women and the work that we do together with everyone in our lives, not to be proud and say it's just us, but we do offer a lot, um, and if you want to learn more and dive more into being a woman and the feminine details and growing in grace and favor, I would encourage you to check out my course, the Esther Blueprint. I'm really happy about this course. I'm still working on several modules right now, and the things that I get to share, the things that I'm learning in the process is amazing. Like right now I'm working on the beauty treatments module and doing some research on the different things that Esther might have been doing for her beauty treatments for the 12 months, and it's just amazing looking at. And I'm even like thinking about I've gone, or I'm writing now, just the aspect of maybe the trauma we may have faced as women that will cause us to not feel that we are beautiful and worth it, but even just addressing the fact that God cares about us and every dynamic about us, including the physical details. It's not to say it's above other things, but He created it, and you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and therefore it's important. So if you would like, you can definitely go to my website, aprilwill.com, and check out the course, and I'll be happy to have you. So to go more into it, like let's talk about feminine traits in business, which I think are actually really useful and are assets. So some of the traits would be empathy, intuition, discernment, collaboration. Those traits that normally come a lot with femininity are so useful in business, like being intuitive and understanding the needs of others even before they even thought of it, or knowing how to communicate with them, or knowing how to partner with someone so you can both bring your strengths together and your gifts, so it can just be like a full blowout, bringing your best together, and also so that your weaknesses can be lifted up by the strength of the other person. And a lot of people are drawn to authenticity, which for women, I believe we have a special gift and skill of bringing that. Not that men don't do it, but it's just different, because for us, I think being more self-aware and intuitive, we can know what we're feeling, in an easier manner usually, and then present that to people. And people tend to be drawn to that. So I think it's a gift for women to be in business and to be entrepreneurs. And if you're thinking about it, if you're in it, if you're thinking about it, go for it. If you are already an entrepreneur and you're building your business, I just say, yeah, go for it. Just like animo. I encourage you. So it's a Spanish phrase, like you can do it. Pep up. I remember a pastor telling me that one day, actually recently, when I was feeling down. So I want to share that to you. So you can be gentle, and you can be a force to be reckoned with. There are many examples of women in the Bible that were like that, and many examples to this day, women that are just caring, nurturing, and beautiful and strong. And I want to say that the strength for women who are believers, like the strength comes from God. I know a lot of people will say that, oh my gosh, April, you're so strong and stuff like that, but truly my strength comes from God, and it's the same for you too. So be encouraged, and if you can think about someone else who would be encouraged by this video, share it with them. It would help a lot for me, but also help the person. And if you can give this video a like, please do, because it would reach many more people. So thank you for watching. I hope it was encouraging for you. Let me know in the comments if it was, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day. Hey, beautiful friend. So remember the rainbow I mentioned? It didn't stay too long. I noticed towards the end of the video that it was going back into the clouds. But I did see it, and for me, it was a beautiful reminder that God was here, and He's here with us. And He was here during the video, and it was lovely for me to see. So I hope you get to see many rainbows in your life, and they remind you of the promises that God has given you, and you hold on to them and declare them and thank God that He's going to bring them to pass, because He will, and He's faithful. All right, have a good day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.